Welcome to part 3 of my 6-part series called How to Buy a House, because they don't teach you this shit in school. In parts 1 and 2, we talked about getting prepared and house hunting, and today we are talking about submitting an offer. But make sure you hit that follow button and stay tuned, because these are all the things that are still to come. So you found a house you like and you want to submit an offer on it. What you're doing is you're basically submitting a contract to the seller and saying, here's seller, here's what I'm proposing to you to put terms together to purchase this home. The seller can say, sure, sign it and accept your offer. They can say, absolutely not. That is not an offer I want to consider. And most of the time what happens is they say, okay, thank you for your offer. Here's what I think would be better. And then you enter negotiations. Here in my market in Kansas City, we have kind of different pockets of the market right now. And what the market conditions are doing really impact the strategy when you're submitting an offer. So the multiple offer situation is not as common as it was 3-4 years ago. It's definitely not in every home situation. But in Kansas City, there are certain price points and areas where we know this is going to happen. The main thing you need to know about multiple offers is that you are now in the business of trying to accommodate the sellers to the extent that you're comfortable. So I think it's really important to go into a multiple offer situation knowing what the max dollar is that you're willing to spend on a home. That doesn't mean you initially submit the max dollar though. You have to be strategic based on the information you have. Sometimes it makes sense to go in strong and just submit your strongest offer first. Sometimes it makes sense to start a little bit lower and leave room for like bargaining chips. And then other times you might employ something called an escalation clause, which means you're telling the sellers you're willing to pay up to a certain amount, beating the next best offer if they can prove that they have that offer by whatever amount of dollars, $1,000 or $2,000 usually. If you're looking at a home that's been sitting on the market for a minute, throw all of that away. It's a completely different strategy. The most common thing that my buyers ask for when they have the opportunity to negotiate is for the seller to pay their closing costs. For most buyers, cash on hand is more impactful than maybe $25, $50 off their monthly payment over the long haul. And then another big tool that I have a lot of buyers using right now is what's called a seller paid temporary interest rate buy down. Essentially, the sellers establish an escrow account on your behalf that subsidizes your interest rate for the first 2 to 3 years of your loan, depending on the program you sign up for. If this is a house you're going to be in for 30 years, it probably makes more sense just to negotiate on the sale price. But most of my clients are buying homes they see themselves in for the next 5 to 7 years, in which case those temporary savings are much more impactful. So stay tuned for part 4.